Welcome back to Worthington Model Railway. As I mentioned in the last couple of videos, I found a box with some locomotives in that I'd sort of forgotten about. And there are various locos in there from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I pulled these two out because these are both 70s, late 70s vintage. Interesting to see that the bottom one there has a Harrods 9 pounds 80 sticker on it. So let's take a look at these. Sort of find it interesting that Hornby have to tell us it's a locomotive and tender. The top one being that GWR Hall class, Albert Hall, and the bottom one being the 460 class B12. Again, locomotive and tender. Nice line drawings on the front, which Hornby did for a while there. Sort of show you what was inside there without you actually seeing it inside. So let's open them up, have a look. Let's see if they run, and if they do, let's put them on the layout. So this is our 150. It's the LNER 460 CLB12. And in the catalog here, which we can look at from 1977, again, I don't have a 1976 catalog, I need to find one. A powerful mixed freight locomotive redesigned by Gresley from an original Holden design, fitted with magnesium and exhaust steam sound. So we'll have a look at this. Let's pull it out and check it out. And so yes, I'd already opened this up and checked and looked and seen that this R150 is from February, no actually, what do we have? 250676. So that's the 25th of June 76. And here's the operating instructions, and it's actually quite a lot of information here, but there's some info here about uncoupling ramps and power connecting clips and the track system, and there's a nice illustration on the bottom there. And we have a lot more instructions here on some other things. And down here we have our oiling points, which I think we know where those all are. This one obviously has the motor inside the locomotive. And there's some more information there. And what do we have on the back page? Just some maintenance stuff and some information about magnesium, which was, of course, that thing that was designed to put a magnet in there to keep the steel-tired driving wheels on the steel rails. That was what Hornby System 4 or System 6, as I remember, one or the other. Anyway, so let's have a quick look at the locomotive. The tender has a little bit of a weight in it, but not much. As we say, all the driving gubbins is on the front end here. A little dusty. Let's take a look. Let's put a light on so we can see better. It's better. You have a little bit more light on here. This is that very simple coupling mechanism here, where we have just a hook here and it drops right on. As I say, the tender is incredibly light. There is a weight in there. You can hear it rattling around. And this is that steam sound, which was a little, if you can see it in here, it's a spring in a little piece of rough paper. And the idea was, as it chuffs, you get this steam sound. Not a great feature really, but got some play value to it. We'll see if it does it on the layout and what it looks like. So here again, pickups on the wheels, fairly old standard system here. Probably need to give this a little bit of lubrication. We'll open it up and look at that in a minute. Well, let's just first of all see if it does actually run. So looking at this, there's not a lot of detail. There really is no lining. There is a handrail here, but it's molded. It's not separately fitted. There are a couple of exhaust valves and a whistle up there, which look all to be metal. There again is some detail in the cab, but nothing really picked out in terms of that detail. But actually quite a bit of molded detail. Now I look at it in that cab. No glazing on the cab windows, obviously, and none of our modern ideas like sprung buffers. I suppose really very little. But anyway, let's see if this B12 will run. We'll apply some power. Yeah, it's definitely trying to do something here. Let me hold it so it doesn't run away with me. It's trying to do something, but not enough to do anything more than just a crawl. So let's open it up and check it out. I don't know, it's trying to go now. Maybe a little lubrication and this will start to run. I may need cleaning. I think the motor might need cleaning too, so we may have a little bit more work to do on this one. So to open this one up, it looks like we just have to take out this screw in the end here. Oops, I don't know what I've got in my screwdriver there. Well, yep, that was all we had to do. Okay, so this is a fairly standard motor setup, and let's start off just by seeing if the motor wants to run. Just apply power direct to the motor and see if it runs. Yeah, so the motor seems to want to run okay. That magnet is pretty strong. So I think this probably just needs a good cleanup. So let's get some electrical cleaner, give it a good clean up, clean the wheels, and I think it'll probably run fine. So there's a couple of schools of thought on this. One is that we strip everything down, strip the motor down, check the brushes, do all that sort of stuff. When they're really dirty, full of fluff, not looking in good shape, I'll do that, particularly also if there's not a good solid magnet. But this magnet is pretty solid. So I'm not going to do that initially here. I'm just going to clean it off and see if that if it runs any better after we clean it off. So just get some electrical cleaner. Just give it a squirt with electrical cleaner in and around the motor and the brushes, and put a little bit of oil on the bearings, and we'll see where we go from there. I had a little bit of a problem getting that getting that brush back in, but seems to be in now. So let's just put a little bit of light oil on both ends. Just a little bit there, and a little bit on here, and then a little bit of grease on here. Spin that a bit. A little bit too much grease on there. Okay, so let's try it again. See if it's going to run any better. The wheels probably need cleaning as well, but actually, let's put a couple of my rolling road components on here. That way we can try to spin the motor. Actually, why don't we just try it like that to start with? Okay, so we have it all back together, and I have lubed it all, put some oil on the wheels and on the cog and what have you, the gears, and so let's see if it'll now run. There we go. Seems to now be running great. Okay, let me see if it runs on the track or if we need to clean the wheels. Nope, those wheels seem to be doing good. I probably will just give the wheels just a little bit of a clean, just to make sure that they're good. So let's get this back together and get it on the track. I clean these wheels just by putting a little bit of a spray, this electrical cleaner on it, and rubbing them off with a piece of paper towel. Get the same on the other side. As you can see, that's a little bit of black coming off them. They're not too bad. This is actually in pretty good shape, considering. Okay, let's get it back together. Well, this is R759, the GWR Hall class. Similar vintage, I believe, again 1976. We'll look at the leaflet. Let's take this one out and have a look. This one again, very, very similar date. What are we looking at here? R759, 9th of April 1976. So, and again, basically exactly the same operating instructions as the other one we just looked at. 1977 catalog, let's have a look in this. As I say, I don't have a 76. And here it is in that 1977 catalog. R759, a mixed traffic two-cylinder locomotive introduced in 1928. Fitted with Magna-Hesian and exhaust steam sound. So we're going to see the same things that we had on the R150. So let's take a closer look. So this locomotive is going to be very similar to the other one. They're both 460s. This one, the tender is a little bigger on this one. If we look at the tender from the B12, you can see it's considerably short. Well, hopefully you can see. It's considerably shorter. So anyway, let's take a quick look at the tender. Again, it's a very lightweight tender. There is really no weight in it. Obviously, this one still has this sort of shiny, lacquered finish, similar to what we saw on the early Evening Star and the Oliver Cromwell. I'm not quite sure why Hornby was doing it at that point, but they obviously were. The lettering on here is really very nice. The lining is great. And so, again, you know, the lining and lettering here is nicely applied. Again, these are molded. There's no separately fitted handrail here. They're molded. We have a copper chimney again, but maybe these steam valves might be they might be metal, but not much else going on there. We've got a nice nice detail, molded again in the cab, but not picked out. It might be interesting actually just to try to pick out some of that detail in the cab and see what the end result looks like. Similar sort of hook an eye here for the tender. So exactly the same mechanism here as the other one. I'm sure it's the same motor too. We'll see if this one runs. It's interesting, the magnesium does work. A little bit of difficulty putting it on the rolling road because the wheels are trying to get to these edge pieces that are obviously steel and magnetized. So anyway, let's try it, see what it does. Okay. Well, again, it's trying to do something, but not much happening. Okay, let's open it up and see what's going on. So I determined the problem here was actually dirty wheels. I cleaned the wheels a little bit, and now it's running quite happily and not too noisy either. But I will put a little bit of oil and lubrication on there, and we'll go try running this one in the layup. Nothing to do. As always, thanks for watching. A little bit of a blast from the past there. I think those locomotives are running pretty well, 1976 vintage. I'm not so sure about the chuff-chuff sound, but that's sort of part of that era. And amazing they're running that well when you consider it's probably 15 years since they were packed away. As always, if you like the video, slam that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe button to the top right, another video to the top left.